Okay, so before the session ended, we were looking at the different functions we use to explore data. Okay, so the different functions we use to explore data, and we've looked at the dim function, which is dimension. We looked at the structure function, str. We've looked at the glimpse function. We've looked at the scheme function. We've looked at head. We've looked at tail. We've looked at names. We've looked at unique. We've looked at class. So those are some of the common functions. By the time you apply all those functions on your data, on your data set, you will see that you now like appreciate what your data set is all about. You know the number of columns, the number of rows, the names of the variables, the unique values in each variable, the summary of numerical variables. So you just get to have an idea of what your data set is all about. Okay, so having done that, we'll move to the next. Sorry, can you mute your audio? Can you mute your audio?
I can come to your side now. Since you are living in my side.
Please, can you mute your audio? Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to data cleaning. So can you see this Word document on my screen that has data cleaning? Okay, fine. Good. So yes, so in data cleaning, this is what we're going to do. We've looked at data exploration. Now we're going to move to data cleaning and manipulation. So we'll appreciate the aim of data cleaning and the benefits of a clean data in R, define a tidy data, which we've done during the R basics, define data manipulation, identify R codes for the R functions in data cleaning and manipulation, list and explain the roles of these R functions in cleaning and manipulation, and then apply a few of them. Okay, so let's go back to our script. Okay. Now, this is, okay, let me see, sorry. Okay, so this is an outline of what we're going to do with data cleaning. We'll learn how to select variables. We'll learn how to change variable order. We'll learn how to change variable name. We'll learn how to change variable type, change factor levels, filter rows, recode values, rename variables, look at missing data, and look at duplicates. Okay, so let's quickly jump into them. So let me see if I can import this data. Sorry, import here. And sorry. And has excellent. Fine. Okay. Fortune, can you hear me? Is Fortune here?
No, I don't think so.
Is Fortune here?
I don't think.
Effiong, is Fortune Effiong here?
No, I don't think Fortune. No, it's not here, sir.
Fortune, can you hear me? Hello, Fortune, can you hear me?
It's not
Fortune
in
is not
meeting presently, sir.
okay.
Sorry, can one person speak so I can hear?
Kingsley is available.
Fortune is here. Is he the one speaking?
No, Kingsley is the one speaking.
No, I'm talking to Fortune.
Okay.
Is Fortune here?
No, sir.
Is this Tolu?
Yes, sir.
Where is Fortune?
He's not available presently, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to seek his permission. There is a data set he sent to me. I wanted to work on that data set. I'm not divulging any information within the data set. I just want to use the data set to show an example of something I want to teach. So that's why I wanted to.
Let me read to him now, sir.
Okay. Just ask him that the data set he sent to me on sanitary pads, that can I just use it to show an example to the class? Okay. So while he's doing that, let's go ahead. So when I say data cleaning in R, it means for you to transform your data into, okay, there are actually two types of data that computers recognize. It's either a human-friendly data or a machine-friendly data. A human-friendly data is aesthetic to look at with the human eyes. It looks nice. But sometimes a data set that looks nice in the human eye might not be nice for a computer or for a data analysis package. That brings up what we know as the machine-friendly data. So data cleaning transforms a human-friendly data or a raw data that you have from the field into something that R can, into something that R can work friendly with. So that's what a data cleaning does for you. It transforms your data set into a very clean, tidy data set that R can work with very, very well. Okay, so having said that, there are several things you do to clean and manipulate your data. And one of them, like we said, is to select. For example, let me use our voters data set. So if you look at this data set here that I created, you have name, age, sex, weight, height, and state. Okay, maybe the way the data set comes, I don't like the arrangement. I want to have name and then state next before age, sex, weight, and height. I want to have to know the person's state before I know all other information. So I want to rearrange this these variables. So this is how we will do that. So we tell R we're working in the voters data set, and then we use our pipe operator and say, and then I can continue typing on this line, maybe say select, and I want to tell our select name, which is the first variable, and after name, I want to see state, like we said. And then what other what other variable do we say after? I think it was age, right? Name, yeah. Age. Then which other one do we have there? We had weight, right? We had height. And then we had, what other information? We had sex, yes.
Sex.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah.
So I want state to come immediately after name. So if I press Control Enter at the end of this, and you look at the console, can you see the console here? Yeah. You can see it has arranged it. It's now name, state before others. So it has brought state to, state was the last one before, but it has brought state back. So that's one function there. And then maybe if there were over 20 variables here, it would be odd for me to start writing all the variables. So I could just tell R, instead of doing this, I could have just written voters and then pipe operator, and I say select. When I say name, state, and then I'll tell R, just put every other thing in the data set. Everything. So this everything will now replace this age, weight, height, and sex thereabout. So when I run this command, click Control Enter, it still gives us the same thing we did earlier. So you see name, state, and then it has every other thing here. I can choose, maybe I'm working on I want to just work on the weight and height of these people in this group. I can tell our voters pipe operator, sorry. I tell R, just select the weight and the height for me. And I run this command, and you can see in the console, R has just selected just the weight and height column for me. So you can also do select using numbers. For example, if we look at this data set, where is it again? If we look at our voters data set, it's here. So, this age, name, age, sex, this is the first column. Name is the first column, age is second column. So this is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So instead of using the names of the variables, we can use the number of the column to also do the selection. So I can come here and tell R, voters, and then I put in my pipe operator. I can say select select 1 and 5, 1,5. And then if I press Control Enter, you can see R has selected just the first one, which is name, and the 5th one, which is height. So those are ways you could just use your select variable. Yeah, someone is raising their hand. Tolulope Oguni, can I hear from you? Yeah, go ahead, Tolu.
Yes, sir. He's unavailable now, sir.
Okay, fine, don't worry.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
okay, so those are a few ways we could rearrange our data set. And then there's also, we can also choose to, let's assume we want to rename. We have a variable as sex. Sometimes in some cultures, they might feel offended with sex. They want you to use gender instead. So we want to rename our sex variable and call it gender. We'll tell R, we're working in the voters data set. And then we tell R, there's a function we call mutate, which means change. Sorry, we're doing rename. So we say rename. Now we tell R the new name that we want, which is gender, equal to the old name that we want to change, which is what? Sex. Right? Okay. If you press Control Enter. Now, if you look at the console, you know before it was name, age, and sex. So now we have gender in that variable name instead of sex. If you look at the console here. So we've just changed that name. Please, can you mute your audio, please? Mute your audio. The voice is interfering with our, mute your audio, please. Okay. So that's the way to rename a variable. Then we can also recode a value. Recoding a value means to change a value within, to change something within these values. Let's assume, for example, Aminu is the first person on this list, and he's from Kano State, according to what this list says. This is where I'm talking about, this highlighted area. So Aminu is the name, and he's from Kano State. So maybe I was typing and I made a mistake. I wanted to put Kaduna instead of Kano. So, but it's Kano I put. So I want to correct that, to change that, that value to Kaduna. So we'll do the code voters, which is the data set, put in our pipe operator. Now we're going to use a command called mutate, open our bracket, and then we tell R that we are working on the state variable equal to, then we say recode, which is the function that we want to use. Now, if you notice, when we said rename, we put in our new name first, and then the old name was last. But when we're using recode, we put in our old name first, which is Kanu, right? Kanu was the old name. And then we want to change it to Kaduna. Okay, you will notice again, I introduced inverted commas in this place. And that is because when you're dealing with values, and values are these ones inside the table, not the variable names, just the values. When you're dealing with values, values must go with inverted commas or quotes. But when you're dealing with the variable names, like this name, age, gender, you don't need to use inverted commas. So this is another place where you use inverted commas. I have mentioned two places already. I mentioned when you're installing packages with install packages, you use your inverted commas. I also mentioned when you're importing data sets into R, you also use your inverted commas to quote the name of the data set. Now, this is the third place I'm mentioning use of inverted commas. So if we run this code, what is saying X is missing, we know the false, see where error occurred, problem, state recode, Kano equal to Kaduna, X is missing. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell recode what variable I was working with. So the variable is state. So I needed to tell recode function that I'm working in the state variable. That's why it showed up this error. So when I run this command, so it has run the command for us. So if we look at this, this was our code, this one in blue. So initially Aminu was from Kanu. Now we have Aminu from Kaduna. So we have renamed the variable Kanu to Kaduna. You can see that in the console here. Okay, so we move on. Now we can also change the class of a variable. Maybe we are mistakenly gave a wrong class to our variable, or we want to intentionally change the character or the class of that variable. We can also do that. Now, we said that when we did our exploration and we used our glimpse and structure, we saw that age was a numerical variable. Age was a numerical variable. So, or we saw that sex was a character variable, sex. So I want us to change the class of sex from a character to a numerical variable. So we do voters, we put in our pipe operator. So you always have to begin with your data set to tell R, this is the data set that you're working on. So that's why we're always saying voters, and then we pipe it into this. So what do we want? We wanted to, what do we want to change? Okay, the class. Okay. So we say, what you want to say now? Sorry, mutate. We are working on sex equal to. So to change a class, we use the function as, and then put in the class that we want that thing to be. So we say we're changing sex from character to numerical. So we put as numeric. And then we write our sex, which is the variable there. When we run this command, so R says there's a problem. Okay, let's see what R did. Let's run our, where is it here now? Okay, let's find out what class it has changed it to. Class. Please let's mute our audios. I'm going to add something here. Voters. And then let's find class voters. Sorry, $, sex is. Okay, so please, can we mute our sound? It's distracting the training. Mute your sound, please. Thank you. Okay, so we have done this code to change the class of the sex variable. Initially in the table, we saw that class sex was a character variable, but we have asked R to change it to a numeric variable. And then we have now written class to find out what class sex is now. If you look at the console here, it has changed class of voters of sex to numeric. It's no longer character. If I want to change it back, I'll just run the same command. I say voters, and then pipe, let's assign it. And then we'll put in our pipe operator, and we say the same, mutate sex, sex equal to. So now we're going to change it to what it was before as character. And then sex in here. So if we run this, and then we ask R what class sex is now, sex. Okay, sorry, I missed the S in voters. It's supposed to be voters, not voter. Okay, so you can see the class has changed back to character because I ran this second code. So that's how to change the class of a variable. Then we can also use the function filter. We've used function select, we've used mutate. We can also use filter. Select works on variables, that's the variable names. Filter works on the observations, the values within the observations. So that's the difference between filter and select. So let's assume we wanted to, let's look at our data set. Where are you? Voters, good. So this data set now, let's assume we have Kano, let me see. Ogun. Okay, we have Ogun as number 4. The 4th person is Ogun, right? And then I think we have another Ogun somewhere here. We have another Ogun. Number 10 is also Ogun here. So let's say I'm interested in having only people that are from Ogun State. And I want to tell R, select the observations that are from Ogun State. So this is what I would do. Let's go back to our script. So I say voters, and then I put in my pipe operator, and then I will say filter. And then I will tell R filter where, what variable is that now? State, okay, yeah, where state is equal to Ogun. Ogun. Now, I want you to notice some things about this code I just wrote now. First of all, we used a double equal sign. And whenever you're using the filter function, you're going to say something is equal to, you always use the double equal sign. So here we're saying filter this observation if state is equal to Ogun. If state is equal to Ogun, filter it out. So, and you notice that Ogun is in inverted commas because Ogun is a value. I've told us initially all values are in inverted commas in the codes. So if I run this code, so you can see in the console, R has filtered only the observations that are from state Ogun. You can see only 2 people are from Ogun State, and R has filtered just those 2 rows for me. So that's how to use the filter sign. We can also say we want R to tell us to filter out people that are above 35 years old in this population. So we say voters, we put in our pipe operator, and then we tell our filter where age greater than 35. Now, if you look at this code, I told us values must always be in inverted commas. However, if the value is a number, it does not have to be in inverted commas. You can see 35 is a value in the data set, but I didn't put it in inverted commas because it's a number. So numbers don't need to be in inverted commas. So if I run this code, now you can see under age, all these people here are above 35 years old. All of them are above 35. That's what R has filtered, only those that are above 35 years old from this data set. So that's another way to use values. Then another thing I wanted us to do is to look at missing data. So for example, if I want to find out if there's a missing data in my data set, I do this, I put in my pipe operator. I'll tell our filter completed or complete cases. Now I'm asking R to just select only the rows that have complete data in them. Because if there are missing data in my data set, R will ignore those ones, but it will filter all the observations that have complete data in all the variables. So if I run this code, filter complete data, name, age, sex, weight, 0 rows. Oh, okay, I see what happens. Okay, if you notice here, it says there is no row that has a complete data. That's the answer R gave me after I run this code. And that is because, you know, in an earlier function, we had asked R to change the sex to numeric class. You know, sex was a character class. we asked R to change it to a numeric class. And because R does not recognize alphabets as numbers, when I asked R to change those male and female to numeric class, it converted them to missing data, NA, 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 NA. That's what it did here, if you look at the console here. And because of this, it means all the rows now have a missing data because of this NA. And that's why when I said filter complete cases, R tells me there's no complete case in this place. Do you understand what happened here? Okay. So that's how to check on missing data in our data set. And then if you want to remove missing data, you can just do, that's if there are missing data in this place, we can just do voters. We'll put in our pipe operator, and then we tell R drop NA, which is to drop missing data.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't understand that part, because I'm from the code. I saw that we converted it to numerical, and then we converted it back again to character, if you follow the code.
Yes, when we converted back it to character, the values were already NA. So all we asked R is to change class. So it did not affect what these values are. It was already changed to NA. So the data we presented to R to convert back to character is NA. So that's why it didn't change it back to male and female, because the data we gave it is N. Let me use the initial data so that you will see what I mean. Balabum, balabum. Okay, let me just import it again. Import here. Voters.sl x. Let's not forget our inverted commas. Bada boom. Bada boom. Okay. So let's import this. Okay, so this is the original data. This is the original data, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So now let me run this same command here. This same command we run here. Let me copy it. Let's run it here. Control enter. No, it's still giving me this. No, I need to do something. Okay, no. Let's see what he look like. This is still has NA here. Well, it would take more than a few minutes for me to redo this thing that is here, and we have like 2 minutes left for this session. So probably just look through the video, and then when we come into our next session next week, you can present me with a question, or during the week, you can reach me on WhatsApp, and then we can have some discussion on it. So this session will end in less than in about 2 minutes. I will end here because we've covered quite much. Look at the videos again I sent, and then see how you can assimilate what we have done so far, and see how you can practice. I also sent some other documents that will help us practice in our emails. So do we have any questions in the next 2 minutes before we round up? Yeah. 2 minutes, yeah.
Please, sir. Thank you very much for the class.
Yeah.
I know this Pi operator. Please, can you? I don't know how to get it from my system, from my own end.
Control Shift M. Control Shift M.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes. Control Shift M. That's Pi operator. Yes. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my dear.
Yeah. So when you were trying to change the class of
Yes.
text, you used the assignment operator, and you mentioned earlier that the assignment operator was used to save objects.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yes. Why I use the assignment operator? Let's go back to this thing. Was because I needed to assign it so that when I use the class function, I can put in the name of the new data set that has been formed. Because if I just type that code and run enter, I want to use it again, R has not saved what I have done. So the assignment operator saved the fact that we have changed to another class in that voters. Do you understand? It saved the fact that we have changed the class. If you run a code, it only presents itself in your console. If you want it to be saved, you use the assignment operator to save it as an object so that you can work with that modified one.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. The time is almost up. I'll see you next week, Saturday, 4 o'clock. Look at the videos, try and practice,